Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, it's getting very serious. We're getting information now that the Kremlin is accusing the United States of trying to literally to take over Venezuela, to run roughshod over Nicolas Maduro by saying he's no longer in charge of Venezuela. And according to reports out of Brussels, as well as Moscow, Russia accuses the United States of trying to take the power from Venezuela and warned against U.S. military intervention there, putting it at odds with Washington and the European Union, which backed the protest against one of Moscow's closest allies. Matter of fact, Venezuela's opposition leader, Juan Guaido, himself interim leader on Wednesday, declared himself that, and he got the support of several nations. The United States President Donald Trump recognizes Guaido as the now new president of Venezuela. So does several other nations in Latin America, including Brazil, Colombia, Chile, and others. Matter of fact, the Latin American socialist president Nicolas Maduro, who has led the oil-rich nation since 2013 to sever diplomatic ties with the United States. Matter of fact, the prospect of Maduro being ousted is a geopolitical economic headache for Russia, which alongside China has become a creditor of last resort for Caracas to keep Venezuela alive. Russia lending billions of dollars as its economy implodes, and Moscow providing a lot of support as well militarily and oil industry. China giving billions of dollars. Matter of fact, Russia has accused Washington of stoking the street protest and trying to undermine Maduro, whom it called the country's legitimate president. Quote, "We consider the attempt of the United States to observe a sovereign authority in Venezuela is a contradiction, it's a violation, it's bias, it's the principles of international law," according to the Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov. Matter of fact, he said Russia had not received a Venezuelan request for military help and declined to say how it would respond if it did. And Maduro, who met President Vladimir Putin in Moscow back in December, was the legitimate president. Well, the question is he now in charge? The Russian Foreign Ministry weighed in, complaining that Washington was seeking to determine the fate of other nations by using a well-tried strategy of trying to depose an undesirable government. Matter of fact, they told Washington not to intervene militarily, warning outside interference was the path to bloodshed. That is a warning that the Kremlin gave the United States. Matter of fact, quote, "We warn against such adventurism, which is fraught with catastrophic consequences." But Turkish President Erdogan offered support also for Maduro. And he said, quote, "My brother Maduro, stand tall. We stand by you." President spokesman Ibrahim Kalin wrote in a Twitter. Also, China, a very major lender to Caracas, also voiced its support for Maduro, saying it is totally opposed outside interference in Venezuela and supports the efforts to protect Maduro and the Venezuelans' independence and stability. But the European Union, which has imposed sanctions on Venezuela and boycotted President Maduro's swearing in for a second term earlier this month, took a different track. Although it stopped short of following President Trump and recognizing Guaido as the interim president, it called on the authorities in Venezuela to respect his civil rights, freedom, and safety, and appeared to support calls for a peaceful transition of power away from President Nicolas Maduro. The people of Venezuela have massively called for a democracy and the possibility to freely determine their own destiny, like they used to have there, by the way. These voices cannot be ignored. The 28-nation bloc said this in a statement. French President Emmanuel Macron saluted the courage of the Venezuelan people marching for freedom and called Maduro in 2018 election victory illegal. And a spokesman for British Prime Minister Theresa May said the election has been neither free nor fair and expressed support for Juan Guaidó, the National Assembly leader. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez planned to call Guaidó after talks with Latin American leaders in Switzerland there at Davos. So, guys, here's what we have: a world divided. The United States, the British, the French, the European Union are all standing with the new guy, okay, with Juan Guaidó. But Russia, China, and some of the other nations are standing with Nicolas Maduro. And Maduro's neighbors, Brazil, Colombia, Chile, and others, Paraguay, are all standing with the new guy. So we have a world divided over the situation going on in Venezuela. And that's a recipe for disaster. Already, there's fractions. You got the European Union's falling apart. Germany and France just signed a new deal. They're going to form their own EU army. What does that mean for NATO? Trump didn't go to Davos. He cancels. So there's no American representation on the world stage at the Economic Forum. All right? The U.S. government is still in shutdown, day 34. Pelosi just shut down President Trump's State of the Union address. Today, Trump backs down and says, okay, I'm not going to give a speech till we get it fixed. And both sides are in an impasse over the protection of the southern border with the border wall. So we have there's like chaotic issue after issue. And then there's the Yellow Vest protest that's fracturing the European Union, rising up, especially in France. Does President Emmanuel Macron, does he even survive this? Guys, the world is going into chaos. Does the Bible say anything about that in the last days? Jesus said it in Matthew 24. He said, in the last days, false Christ and false prophets shall rise, and they shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in divers places. He said, this is just the beginning. All of this is the beginning of sorrows. Give your life to Jesus Christ. It's getting crazy. It's getting bad. I'll be live today at 12 noon Eastern right here on this YouTube channel, as well as at my website at paulbegleyprophecy.com and at new live stream, Roku satellite television, and our direct radio line. Pray for Sister Heidi, for her mother, who is very, very ill in the hospital. Heidi is, that's why I'm here now. So we just need your prayers, okay? Pray for Sister Heidi's mom. God bless.